Hello everybody, welcome back to another editorial analysis, and today we have another amazing piece that we are going to break down. So I'm excited, I know you guys are too. Let's do this. Alright everybody, so let's look at the piece that we are going to break down, that we are going to analyze. This is the very first page and this is the second page. Alright, it's a small yet very interesting and informative piece. And before we start this, before we break it down and understand all the nuances of it, let me tell you something. This is not one of those lessons, one of those sessions where I'll be teaching you some vocabularies. Obviously, you'll be learning some vocabularies, but this is not the main purpose of me doing that, right? The main purpose of us doing it is to understand the language, is to enhance our understanding of the language, is to understand a lot of things. What are those things? We'll understand this going forward in the lesson, all right? All right, so let's look at the topic. Terrorist safe havens must be dismantled immediately. And after this, we have a colon followed by India. So this is a statement coming from India. India is saying terrorist safe havens. A safe haven is a place where people are secured, where people are protected. So terrorist safe havens, places where terrorists are secured, are protected, are safe. So terrorist safe havens must be dismantled, that is destroyed, ruined, right, immediately. And who's saying this? This is coming from India. So this is the topic, all right, the headline, and the subhead is UNSC must decide on actions to ensure Afghan peace, that is Afghanistan peace. So this is about Afghanistan, UNSC and peace. This is what we can understand from whatever we have read till now. All right, now let's read the first line. Asserting, let's have a marker here. Okay, asserting that the future of Afghanistan cannot be its past, India on Friday said terrorist safe havens in the region must be dismantled immediately and terrorist supply chains disrupted, stressing that it is time for the UN Security Council to decide on actions to ensure immediate cessation of violence in the country. This entire thing is just one sentence, guys. This entire thing, looks like a paragraph, right? No, it's a sentence. Now let's break down everything we have in this sentence, all right? Okay. Asserting that the future of Afghanistan cannot be its past, all right? This is under colons, right? So asserting is a present participle, right? It's a present participle and ing form of verb. Asserting what? That the future of Afghanistan cannot be its past. This is the object of the present participle. So this is a present participle phrase. All right, let me help you understand this. So this entire thing, asserting that the future of Afghanistan cannot be its past, this is a present participle phrase. Now, what is a present participle phrase? A present participle phrase is a phrase that starts with a present participle, which is asserting here, and identifies a noun and gives information about it. All right. So asserting what? After that, we'll have the object of the verb asserting. Asserting what? That the future of Afghanistan cannot be its past. So, okay, let's remove this. Okay. All right. Asserting that the future of, wait, just give me a second, that the future of Afghanistan cannot be its past. This is the object. This entire thing is the object of asserting. Okay. And this is basically a noun. This is basically a noun clause that is working as the object of the verb asserting. So this entire thing a present participle. Asserting that the future of Afghanistan cannot be its past. This is a present participle which is identifying this entire thing. This entire thing is identifying the subject India, which we'll talk about. All right. So asserting present participle. This is the object of the present participle, that the future of Afghanistan cannot be its past. What do we have in here? We have the conjunction that is the conjunction. The future of Afghanistan. All right, guys. Let's remove this first. All right. Okay. The future of Afghanistan. Wait, let me give me a second. The future of Afghanistan. I'm using this pen for the first time, so there might be some weird, strange things going on. All right. The future of Afghanistan is the subject of this noun clause. Subject, right? The future of Afghanistan. Cannot be is the verb phrase. Wait, cannot be is the verb phrase, VP. All right. Cannot be what? It's past. It's past is the object of the verb be. Be what? It's past. So we have the present participle and we have the object of the present participle. This is the conjunction. Okay. So till now we've just figured out a present participle phrase and we've understood everything that we have in here. We have the present participle, we have the object of the present participle, which is a noun clause, right? Let's remove this. Let me show you this. This is basically a noun clause. This entire thing, what is going on, right? This entire thing is a noun clause, which I've already mentioned, I guess, right? This is a noun clause. Okay, let's remove this. Just give me a second, guys. Bear with me. Okay. So, asserting that the future of Afghanistan cannot be its past, India on Friday said. Who asserted that the future of Afghanistan cannot be its past? It's India. It's India who asserted that the future of Afghanistan cannot be its past. So, this phrase, present participle phrase, is identifying the subject India. It's India who did that, right? India on Friday said. India is the subject here. India said, right? When said it? When India said this, whatever that is going to come, it was said on Friday, right? Which is a prepositional phrase. Which is a prepositional phrase that is talking about the time of the action. So it's working as an adverb. All right, it's working as an adverb. So India on Friday said. India is the subject, said is the verb. All right, this is the verb here. This is the subject. Said what? Terrorist safe havens in the region must be dismantled immediately. And so this is the first thing India said. And terrorist supply chains disrupted. This is what India said on Friday. Okay, so it's a compound predicate. Okay, now what do we have in here? Let's understand it. Let's change the color. All right, we'll have the red color. Okay, so India is the subject, said is the verb. India said, when said, on Friday, adverb phrase of time. Said terrorist safe havens, the places where terrorists are safe, secured, protected. Terrorist safe havens. So there is a hidden conjunction which is that. Okay, it's basically omitted here. India on Friday said that terrorist safe havens in the region. This entire thing is the subject here. Terrorist safe havens in the region. Okay, haven is the simple subject here. Havens is the simple subject. I'll break everything down, guys. Don't worry. This is the simple subject. All right. Havens must be dismantled. Simple subject. Terrorist safe havens. All right, safe havens is the simple subject. Safe havens. All right, terrorist is a pre-modifier in the region. In the region. Safe havens in the region. In the particular region. All right, this is a prepositional phrase. In the region is a prepositional phrase that is giving information about the noun safe havens. Okay, let's remove everything and let's continue this. All right. So, India on Friday said that terrorist safe havens in the region. This is the subject of the object. Said what? This entire thing that we had noted, that we had pointed, that this was the object of the verb said. Said what? That terrorist safe havens in the region. This is the subject. This is the subject of this clause. Subject must be. This is the verb phrase. This is the verb phrase. We'll say VP. Be dismantled. Okay, this entire thing is the verb phrase. Must be dismantled. It is in the passive voice because we're not focusing on who is going to dismantle it. All right, we're just talking about what's going to happen. Terrorist safe havens in the region, where in that particular region where they're talking about, must be dismantled immediately without wasting any time, right? An adverb. And this should happen. This is the very first thing that India said that should happen, right? India on Friday said terrorist safe haven in the region must be dismantled, must be destroyed, right? Immediately, and terrorist supply chains disrupted, right? This is the subject and disrupted is the verb. Okay. Now, stressing that it is time for the UN security. Okay, let's remove everything first. Okay. Stressing that it is time for the UN Security Council. UN Security Council is a proper noun. That's why it's in the capital letter. Stressing, this is a present participle. Stressing what? That it is time for the UN Security Council to decide on actions to ensure immediate cessation of violence in the country. Now, so this is present participle, right? Stressing is the present participle. Present participle. And this entire thing is the object of the present participle. Object of present participle. All right. Stressing what? Stressing that it is time for the UN Security Council to decide on actions to ensure immediate cessation of violence in the country, right? So this entire thing is a noun clause. It has a lot of phrases in it. Okay, now let's understand it. So stressing, present participle plus its object, that is a noun clause. Stressing that is a conjunction. It is the subject. It is time is the linking verb. Time in what sense? For the UN security to decide, for the UN security to decide on actions, right? This is a prepositional phrase starting with the preposition for what? The UN security. This is the object of the preposition for what? For the UN security to decide on actions to ensure immediate cessation. Cessation means stoppage, ending of violence in the country. Okay, let's remove everything. We'll have more space. Okay, stressing that it is time in what sense? So this entire thing, what is coming after time, right? This entire thing is giving information about the noun time. It is time in what sense? For the UN Security Council to decide on actions, right? Why should they decide on actions? To ensure immediate cessation of violence that is going on in the country, right? So this is again an infinitive phrase. Infinitive phrase, all right? That is giving information about the noun actions, right? To ensure immediate cessation of violence. Now, this is not giving information about the verb actions, the noun actions. It is telling us why they decide on actions. Why it is time for the Union Security Council to decide on actions. Why? To ensure immediate cessation, to make sure immediate stoppage of violence that is going on in the country. And in the country is a prepositional phrase that is giving information about the noun violence. Violence in the country, not anywhere. What kind of violence? We have no information about the word violence, about the noun violence. Violence in the country, right? Violence happening in the country. So it's giving information about the noun violence. So, all right, let's review this. This is a present participle phrase. Let's write this down. Present participle phrase. Excuse my handwriting, guys. Right. And India on Friday said terrorist safe havens of the region must be dismantled immediately and terrorist supply chains disrupted. This is an independent clause, main clause, stressing that it is time for the Union Security Council to decide on actions to ensure immediate cessation of violence in the country. This is another, this from here to here, this is another present participle phrase. Okay, I'll try to break down everything we have in here. So we have one main clause and we have two phrases, right? That doesn't make it a compound or a complex sentence. It is a simple sentence. A lot of us think that a compound or a complex sentence has a lot of information. No, a simple sentence can have a lot of information in it. If a simple sentence, if a sentence has two types of clauses, then it can be categorized as a compound or a complex sentence. We have lessons on that. You can watch it, right? You'll figure out what is a compound sentence, what is a complex sentence. Okay, so this is a simple sentence which has two types of phrases in it. Major two types of phrases which are present participle phrases, and within these phrases we have multiple phrases. We have prepositional phrases, we have infinitive phrases, right, working as modifiers. I hope this sentence is clear. All right, let's move to the next sentence. As a neighbor of Afghanistan, as a neighbor of Afghanistan, the sentence is starting with the phrase as what, as what, a neighbor of Afghanistan, right? The current situation prevailing in the country, is of great concern to us. This is quite a simple sentence. So this sentence is starting with a phrase as a neighbor of Afghanistan. The current situation prevailing in the country is of great concern to us. Now, it is us who are a neighbor of Afghanistan. So this phrase is giving information about the pronoun us. As a neighbor of Afghanistan, right? It's talking about us. Okay. The current situation. Now, tell me what is the subject of this sentence. The current situation prevailing in the country is of great concern to us. Is prevailing the main verb? If it was, we would have a helping verb, which we don't hear. Is the main verb here, right? This is the main verb, right? So the subject here is the current situation prevailing in the country. This is the subject of this main clause. All right, this is the subject here, the current situation prevailing in the country. And let me highlight the simple subject here. Situation here is the simple subject. Situation is of great concern to us. The current situation, the and current are pre-modifiers. The is a determiner. All right, the is a determiner. This is, wait, just give me a second, right? The is a determiner. Let's write determiner. Current is an adjective, right? Situation is the simple subject. Prevailing in the country, this is present participle phrase. Okay, this is the present participle phrase. All right, so this subject has pre-modifiers and post modifier. All right, in pre-modifiers we have two pre-modifiers, the and current, and the post modifier is a present participle phrase. The current situation that is prevailing in the country. Now let me show you something interesting here. Okay, this present participle phrase is a reduced adjective clause. Some of you might already know this. Let me show you something. Okay, this is basically an adjective clause. So let me show you the current situation. Prevailing in the country, originally it was that is prevailing, that is going on in the country. Okay, so here that is prevailing in the country is our adjective clause. This is basically an adjective clause. All right, giving information about the noun situation, the current situation. What situation? That is prevailing in the country. Now how do we change it into a present participle phrase? We remove a couple of things. What do we remove? Let me show you. we remove the conjunction, we remove the helping verb, and whatever we're left with, that is our present participle phrase. The current situation prevailing in the country. The current situation prevailing in the country. That is how we reduce an adjective clause to a present participle phrase. All right. Okay. Let's remove this. All right. Don't trouble me. Let's move this and let's bring it back here. Okay. Okay. What is the color here? Let's have the red color. As a neighbor of Afghanistan, the current situation prevailing in the country, this is the subject, I hope you've understood it, is the linking verb, main verb. This is basically a linking verb. Okay, linking verb, it is linking the subject to its complement. All right, the current situation prevailing in the country is of great concern to us. Is what? Of great concern. Concern to whom? Concern to India, to Pakistan, to Afghanistan, concern to us. All right, concern to India, right? So this is basically a prepositional phrase that is giving information about the subject, the current situation prevailing in the country. This is of great concern to us. All right. Okay. So this is again a simple sentence which has a modifying phrase, which is as a neighbor of Afghanistan. Let's remove this. Okay. The violence shows no sign of abating. The violence shows no sign of abating. India's permanent representative to the UN, that is T.S. Tirumurti, said at a Security Council meeting on Afghanistan. Okay. This is simple. This is basically a direct quote. The violence shows no sign of abating means reducing, right? Stopping. It's like cessation. All right, cessation. The violence shows no sign of abating. Who said that? It's coming from India's permanent representative, to whom? To the UN, whose name is T.S. Tirumurti. Okay, T.S. Tirumurti, and he said that at a Security Council meeting, which was based on Afghanistan, and the topic was Afghanistan. It was not in Afghanistan, it was about Afghanistan. All right. So let's break down this sentence. The violence shows no sign of abating, reducing, getting less offensive. All right. The violence is the subject here. The violence is the subject. Okay. Shows is the verb here. Shows what? No sign of abating. This is the object. Object. What is it? It's a noun phrase. Right? It's a noun phrase. No sign of abating. So sign is the main noun here. Right? No is a modifier. Of abating is also a modifying phrase, a prepositional phrase that is modifying it. Right? So the violence shows no sign of getting reduced. All right? Removing. No sign of stopping. And who said this? India's permanent representative to the UN, that is T.S. Tirumurti. India's permanent representative to the UN, T.S. Tirumurti, said at a security. Right, this is the subject. This entire thing. Let's change the color. All right. India's permanent representative to the UN, that is T.S. Tirumurti. This is the subject. Said where at a Security Council. This is a prepositional phrase. Prepositional phrase that is working as an adverb. That is working as an adverb. Right? Said where at a Security Council. Preposition. This is the object of the preposition. At a Security Council, a noun phrase. At a Security Council meeting. Sorry. At a Security Council meeting based on Afghanistan, which was about Afghanistan. All right. So this sentence has a direct speech, right? And we have the speaker, that is India's permanent representative to the UN, that is T.S. Tirumurti, right? This guy said this piece where? At a Security Council meeting on Afghanistan, which was about Afghanistan. Hope this is clear. All right, let's remove this and let's have the last page, the next page. Okay, let's have our color to highlight. All right. The council under the current presidency of India held a meeting to discuss the situation in Afghanistan amid increasing military offensives by the Taliban as the US forces withdrew from the country. Okay, so this is our first sentence of this page. The council, comma, under the current presidency of India held a meeting to discuss the situation in Afghanistan amid increasing military offensives by the Taliban as the US forces withdrew from the country. Let's understand everything we have in here. Okay, so the council held a meeting, right? The council, this is the subject here, the council, this is the subject, right? And the simple subject is council. The council, determiner, talking about a particular council held a meeting. Held what? This is the verb. Held what? A meeting, right? Held what? A meeting. This is the object. Now, for what? For what purpose? To discuss the situation that is going on in a, okay, let's highlight this entire. To discuss the situation, right? To discuss the situation. This is this thing is an infinitive phrase. Infinitive phrase that is talking about the reason why the council held a meeting. The council held a meeting. I'm not talking about this phrase. I'll tell you the reason why. The council under the current presidency of India, let's forget this. The council held a meeting. Why? Why did they hold a meeting? To discuss the situation in Afghanistan. Situation where in Afghanistan? In Afghanistan is a prepositional phrase that is modifying the noun situation, right? Situation in Afghanistan. To discuss is the infinitive. To discuss what? The situation in Afghanistan. Amid, this is the conjunction amid, in the middle, in the middle of increasing military offenses. Offenses means military plans, right? To attack somebody, all right? Offenses, offensives. It's not an adjective here, it's working as a noun, all right? Amid increasing military offensives by the Taliban as the US forces withdrew from the country. Okay. So this is the subject. This is basically a modifying phase that is giving extra information under the current presidency of India. Okay. If I want to write it down, I'll write it down this way. Let me show you. That was extra information. That is why we used commas to offset it. Okay. So the simple sentence is the council held a meeting. Why? To discuss, understand how things are working here. All right. The council held a meeting to discuss the situation in Afghanistan. To discuss what? The situation in Afghanistan, right? Amid, that is a conjunction. Amid means in the middle of what? Increasing, right? Military offenses by the Taliban as, okay. So this entire thing, increasing military offensives by the Taliban, this is the object of the preposition amid, right? Now this is, okay, let's remove this first of all. All right. Now as the US forces withdrew from the country is our dependent clause. As is working as the reason, meaning because, right? So the council held a meeting. Why? To discuss the situation in Afghanistan in the middle of amid increasing military offensives by the Taliban, as because the US forces withdrew from the country, right? This is a dependent clause, subordinate clause starting with the conjunction as. So this is the conjunction, the US forces, the, okay, let's have a highlighter. The US forces is the subject here, withdrew is the verb here, withdrew from the country, right? It's a modifying phrase that's giving information about the verb, withdrew from the country. All right. So we have the subject here. We have a phrase under the current presidency of India, extra information. That's why we have commas before and after it. The council held a meeting to discuss the situation in Afghanistan amid increasing military offensives by the Taliban. Right. This is the simple subject. As the US forces withdrew from the country, this is a dependent clause. So we have the first one here, till here, till here, right? From here till here. This is independent clause, right? Independent clause, and from as to country, this is dependent clause. Dependent clause. So this entire sentence is a complex sentence. A complex sentence is a combination of at least one dependent clause and one independent clause. Got it? All right. Let's move ahead. All right, enjoying it? I'm sure you are. Okay. President of the Security Council, Mr. Tirimurti, right? This is the subject. President of the Security, just give me a second. President of the Security Council, whose name is Mr. Tirimurti. I don't know why the original author or the writer has used this comma here. According to me, there should not be any comma here, because this name Mr. Tirimurti is making the person particular, all right, telling us which person this is. But if the writer assume that everybody knows the name, in that case he can use a comma and make this piece of information non-essential, extra. Okay, so President of the Security Council, whose name is Mr. Tirimurti, making a statement. Is this the main verb? No. If making was the main verb, there would be a helping verb, which we don't have here. So making a statement in his national capacity. This is a present participle phrase. P, present participle phrase. Okay. Giving information about the President of the Security Council, Mr. Tirimurti. It is Mr. Tirimurti, who was making a statement in his national capacity, said, this is the main verb. So President of the Security Council, Mr. Tirimurti is the subject, said is the verb. Okay, let's highlight this. Wait, let's highlight this. So President of the Security, Mr. Tirimurti, this is the subject. Said is the verb. Said what? The international community cannot afford to set the clock back. Said, after said we have the noun clause, obviously that is missing. That the conjunction is missing. That the international community cannot afford to set the clock back. Okay, another interesting thing. So to set the clock back means to get back to the same situation that was there in the past, right? Generally, because the current situation is not good. Generally, but it can be in other ways as well. All right. So who said the international community cannot afford to go back to the previous situation? It is the president of the Security Council, whose name is Mr. Tirimurti, making a statement in his national capacity, right? So Mr. Tirimurti said that the international community, this is the subject, the international community, right? Subject, cannot afford, this is the verb phrase, right? Afford what? To set the clock back, to get back to the previous situation. All right. And making a statement in his national capacity is a present participle phrase that is identifying the noun Mr. Tirimurti and giving information about it. So he said this. While he said this, he also made a statement in his national capacity. All right. Hope this is clear. And this is a simple sentence. All right. Let's remove this. Okay. Last sentence. It needs to be ensured that Afghanistan's neighbors and the region are not threatened by terrorism, separatism, and extremism. Terrorism, separatism, and extremism. This is a simple sentence. All right, let's identify things. It is the subject here, subject. It needs, this is the verb. It needs what? To be insured, to be insured, right? This is the object. Actually, this entire thing is the object. Insured, insured in what terms? So this adjective phrase, sorry, clause, that Afghanistan's neighbors and the region are not threatened by terrorism, separatism, and extremism. This is basically this entire thing. This entire thing is an adjective clause that is giving information about this adjective insured. So it is working as an adverb clause. Okay, and this entire thing, to be ensured that Afghanistan's neighbors and so, this is the object of the verb needs. It needs what? To be ensured that Afghanistan's neighbors in the region are not threatened by terrorism, separatism, and extremism. Terrorism, you understand, separatism meaning it is the concept where people want to live separately. They people of a certain belief, of a certain religion, of a certain community, of a certain race want to be separated from the current system. They want to have their own system. Separatism, all right. And extremism, a belief where people are quite extreme. What they believe is quite extreme is not acceptable, all right. So it needs to be ensured, that we need to ensure, it is a pseudo subject. It needs to be ensured. This is basically an infinitive phrase, to be ensured, right? Working as the object of the verb needs. It needs what? To be ensured. Like we need to be ensured that Afghanistan's neighbor, that is the conjunction of this clause, right? Conjunction. Afghanistan's neighbors, and the region, this is the compound subject of this clause, not the sentence. Compound subject of this clause. Okay. It needs to be ensured, that is the conjunction, Afghanistan's neighbors and the region. Compound subject, plural subject, that is why the verb is also plural. All right. Verb. Compound subject verb, Afghanistan's neighbors and the region are not threatened, verb in the passive voice. We're not talking about who is going to threaten them or who threatens them. This is in the passive voice. Are not threatened by terrorism, right? By terrorism. So this is what they're not threatened by, right? So we have to make sure that Afghanistan's neighbors and the region, their neighbors and the region, this entire region, are not threatened by these three items that are terrorism, separatism, and extremism, right? This is a simple sentence. All right, let's remove this. Let's have the red color. There needs to be zero tolerance for terrorism in all its form, he said. Okay. There is the subject here, needs is the verb, subject, verb, needs what? To be zero tolerance for terrorism in all its form, he said. So he is the subject here, said is the verb, and this entire thing is the object, which is a direct quote coming from the subject he. Okay, understood? Whatever he said is more important, that's why the object is coming in the beginning, the quote is coming in the beginning. Otherwise, we could also say he said, which we generally do. He said what? There needs to be zero tolerance in all its forms, right? We could have also written like this. Understood? But since whatever he said was more important, that's why we used the object of the verb said in the beginning. All right. Okay. There needs what? To be zero tolerance. This is the infinitive, right? This is the infinitive. To be infinitive. To be what? Zero tolerance, right? Be what? Zero tolerance, object of the verb be zero tolerance in what terms? For terrorism in all its forms. This is a prepositional phrase that is modifying the noun tolerance. Tolerance in what term? In what sense? For terrorism in all its forms. All right, he said. Hope things are clear. Hope you've learned a couple of things, couple of important things. Hope this was fun, right? So this was our purpose. This was the piece that we just broke down, analyzed. Hope you enjoyed this session. If you did, guys, hit the like button. If you guys are new to the channel, haven't subscribed to the channel yet, make sure you do that. Right, subscribe to the channel and press that notification button as well, so that every single time I publish a lesson, you get notified and you get to watch it right away. Right, and share the lesson with others, with your friends, so that they can also learn, they can also get benefited. And this is something nobody's teaching, I guess. So it'll be great if you guys can share it with others, and it will be my help as well. And that's it. I'll see you guys very soon with another interesting editorial analysis. Till then, keep learning, have fun. I'm out. Namaskar.